Hey, welcome back to the Nets, your one-stop channel for unbiased views, games, analysis, scores, and predictions. So we are smack down at the business end of the IPL, and there have been some teams that have been eliminated. With me today is a Kings 11 Punjab fan who has been a season ticket holder, a young and a dynamic fan, upcoming cricketer, I'm supposing. But with me is Gurpiyar Singh. Hi, Gurpiyar. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks.
So he has been he's a resident of Chandigarh, so he has actually seen Kings 11 team evolve over a period of time. And I will take his insight since he has been this close to the team over the years. So welcome to the show, Gurpia. So one quick question for you, okay, to begin with. What do you think went wrong this year? I mean, you had all the right ingredients in the mix, but where do you think did Punjab falter?
Probably the pace department, the fast ball. It always fell apart. We have big names like Mohammad Shami, Sheldon Cottrell, but they were banged for the boundaries every time. I think there was something in the pace department.
So with Punjab, one thing that I noted was that yes, you guys had an amazing pace department. You had Shami, you had Jordan, you also had Cottrell, who was, I think, who's not really as big a name as people rated him. I do not know why Punjab invested so heavily in him, but I thought that Arshdeep Singh and his late inclusion in the team might have affected the chances a little bit. But pace department, yes, you guys had probably got the best name in Indian cricket, Mohammad Shami. I know people talk about Bumrah, but I think Shami does get under the radar quite a bit. So with that being said, one of the major flaws that I felt was that there was no one in the middle order who could carry the batting all the way. And I do not know if there was any Indian local talent in the ranks of Punjab that you guys could have banked on. What do you think about that?
Like they were using Mandeep Singh as a middle order batsman, who's probably not at all a middle order batsman. He opens for Punjab team in Ranji team, and also Vijay Hazare Trophy also opens. And they were using the opener as a middle order batsman. So that completely destroyed his batting performance because they want him to hit big, but he's not that sort of batsman. We all saw his 66 innings, like he does need to go slow and he will go deep down in the innings and then he will smash out of the park. In the middle order, I think they had Akshar Patel earlier on, but they just got rid of him. And getting rid of Akshar Patel has costed us. He was the one who was also a bowler. He can smash the ball out of the park. So that's the middle.
And you also see that Punjab, for some reason, also got rid of Ashwin, which I feel is, considering Ashwin can throw in his bat around a little bit, but he's a brilliant for a T20 bowler. And I did not really understand the thought process of letting Ashwin go. But one question that stands out is how do you rate Kings 11 and Rahul's captaincy?
Actually, just 6 out of 10.
Uh,
He doesn't know how to rotate bowlers. He can't rotate bowlers frequently. The Rohit Sharma does it best. I have seen the Mumbai Indians bowlers, the way he uses them. He will just get the Jasprit Bumrah in at the right time. He won't wait for like Bumrah's 2 overs in the death. He will just bring in Bumrah for the wickets. But on the other hand, KL Rahul, he will have his bowlers for the death overs left, but won't go for the wicket. And he doesn't rotate the bowlers. The only game where I think our bowlers shined out really was against the RCB game. The second game which KXIP played, in which they scored 206 against the team. And that team, they built up all the pressure with the bat, and they even did it with the ball also.
You mentioned that one of the other things that you always see with captains is, how when you have captains like Rohit Sharma or captains like even Pollard or Warner for that matter, what we see is if the bowler is going through, if he's getting hit around the boundaries for runs, we do not, we see somebody like Rohit Sharma going and talking to the bowler. For some reason, KL Rahul doesn't seem to be that keen in talking to the bowler as to, giving him that confidence in the middle. So that was one thing that I felt that, maybe KL Rahul lacks that. When things are going his way, he looks fine. But when things are not going his way, he looks completely out of sorts. He just looks everywhere else for advice. So that
Mm.
was, one thing that I found that Rahul could probably improve on. But now, considering Rahul is the vice captain of the team that is going to Australia, I am not really getting the best of vibes with that. Just that's just me. But let's talk about the top order. So you guys probably had the best opening partnership or combination in the IPL. Mayank as well as Rahul. And then you also had somebody like Chris Gayle who was sitting on the bench for the first 8 games for reasons unknown. How do you what kind of a decision was that? I mean, why was the boss not in?
No, like he was the best opener like any team could have. He's the best in business. Who doesn't want Chris Gale? And he was the best performing for Kings 11 Punjab too. KL Rahul and Chris Gale. They were a great opening combo. I don't know what they were doing, what they were trying to do. I think they were just trying to fit in Maxwell, Sheldon Cottrell in initials game, and Puran for sure. Like they want him, and even the odds of Jimmy Nisham and other bowlers. So I think they weren't even keen of like keeping the Chris Gale. They were more in keen of like getting the fit players in, but they don't know like the kind of Chris Gale that he puts together the team, whole team together with his like humor, like he have. He always keeps the team in the spark, and also like with the bat, he can provide a lot of runs. We have seen in just like 7 odd games, he's just like 288 runs, and he even scored a brilliant 99, like 1 run shot. Like it does hurt, but 99 runs and one baby girl. He tweeted it, so I
So,
think risky.
you do mention Chris Gayle. Yeah, we can definitely squeeze Chris Gayle in. But then this is where I feel that Rahul, the captain, doesn't bank on himself to come down the order for some reason. I don't know. Maybe sometimes it shows Rahul's selfish intentions of wanting to win the purple cap. But of
No orange cap.
all the batsmen that you had in your ranks, I think KL Rahul only was the one who had the potential to actually carry the team throughout, bat through the 20 overs and put a substantial 180 plus score on the board every single time. And for some reason, his strike rate was always in the 110s, 115s. He
Yes.
wasn't really providing the explosiveness that was needed.
The only I think the kind of innings he wanted to play, he showed in the RCB game, in the game two. He initially he was playing with a 110 strike rate, but in the death, he did a lot of damage to the
Mhm.
RCB bowlers and ended up scoring 132 runs in just 69 balls with a strike rate of 191. He is capable of damaging the bowlers, but I think if he wants to play that anchor role, he should come one down. Let the two openers go. Let them spark. Mike Agarwal, Chris Gayle. Let them just do the damage in the power play. Let them make use of them. Okay, then you come one down, you carry on the team, you do the damage in the last overs. It was as simple as that. He should have done it. What is that management?
So, and if you look at all the management that you guys have, you have probably got one of the best coach, Anil Kumble, sitting in the on the bench. You have Wasim Jafar, and yet we don't see that kind of an input going back into the team. So, it surprises me that somebody like Maxwell managed to get 12 odd games for Kings 11, 12, 13 odd games for Kings 11 when he was not performing throughout the IPL. He was a massive failure. So, any take on that?
Okay, so the Glenn Maxwell. So let's put back a light like where he performed well. He performed well in 2014 and before that. That's why he got a price tag of 600 lakhs in the IPL auction in 2014. So why Maxwell performed in 2014? He was surrounded by Australians. George Bailey, Mitchell Johnson, and Glenn Maxwell. And there was David Miller also with the middle order with him. Like he performed good with Australians. Like now you see in Big Bash, he's there performing with Australians again, with Australian cricket team. He knows. And he also mentioned in Australia, my role is clear. I know like what I need to do with my team. But he stated like whenever I come into IPL, my role changes every time. Every team requires some different aspect of game from me. And KXIP, he was just a baller, like who just gets them 2, 3, and maybe sometimes 4 overs of game. 2014, he smashed 500 runs. Okay. After that, 2015, again a low season for him. 2016, a medical season for him where he got his last 50. And in 2017, he was actually good because he was in charge of the team. He was the captain. Doesn't scoring a single 50 throughout the season, but he scored with somewhat like 300 runs with an average of 31 that season, that very season. With average of 31 and not scoring a 50, which was a great as a finisher. I think only an Australian can get best of Maxwell. What I'm seeing here. He knows himself I can do this. George Billy took the best of him. And before that, for Mumbai Indians, he was just a finisher role or maybe just a power play banger. Like Mumbai Indians just throw him in the power play, like, yeah, just go smash the balls.
That's an important point that you probably make, and we probably missed that all along. But yeah, you're right. He actually performs better because even we cannot even say that he was not having enough match practice. He had just come in from England. He had played probably the best knock of the season in the finals against England and won the game for Australia and the Cup, the bilateral series. So he did come in with tons of practice under his belt. And in spite of that, when his performances were actually when it mattered on the pitch, he could never materialize with his performance. So that was something that was really strange. The next one that I had to ask you was there were many umpiring decisions that went against Punjab. And, especially in the first half of the season. First half of the season, you saw a short run being called, which shouldn't have been there. And then there was that, I don't know what Mayank Agarwal was thinking when he needed 2 runs of 2 balls and he tried to hit a full toss out of the ground.
1 run of 3 balls. One
One
run
run
of
of
three
3 balls,
balls.
yes.
Okay,
So
so the first ball was short ball actually. He didn't came in range of it. He actually looked towards umpire like, is it wide? It's over my head. But umpire just said, okay, it's just a warning. It's just a normal bouncer. But second ball, he just smashed. It was in the fielder's hand. And then it was Chris Jordan on strike. The ball straight went into the hands. But that short run call, you even like recall that Malinga no ball call. You can say it like bad umpiring decision and IPL, they all go hand in hand, what I could say. Every time this happens, bad decisions are being made. And even the final game KXIP played, the Mandeep Singh catch. Many say it's a catch, but many say when the soft call was given out, it should have been given out. Like there was not a prominent evidence. Like it could be that camera lag which happens when the ball is going down there. And so many decisions, so many aspects just came into in the mind, but many decisions didn't go in our way. And that short run call was the difference between us and the playoffs. As you can see, our net run rate is even better than Delhi Capitals and the RCB, what I see.
absolutely. And if you looked at it, those were the kind of games that Punjab should have won in the first place. But then in the second half, they decided to somehow give a chance to Chris Gayle, and then their fortunes changed. 5 games on the trot. And the kind of impact that Chris Gayle brings in is different. And even then, they didn't ask him to open. He came in 1 down, which for me was not really making sense. But what are your thoughts on that?
I like Chris Gayle is an opener. He can damage, he can make full use of the power play. Him and Mayank Agarwal, they were the best in business for the opening. I was well suited like KRL, like he should be number 3 batting. If you want to anchor play it, but I don't know, like he always want to face the first ball, go for it. And many people are saying it like he just went for a selfish orange cap. All are calling him with that, like 100 strike rate. Many memes I have seen around him, like KR Rahul has been going for just 100 around strike rate for his orange cap. And even with the Rajasthan game, where like it was like, okay, now we have to act, we have to do something. He scored 44 of just 41 deliveries, or I think 46 of 41. So you don't expect these sort of innings, like where there are players who can score this, just score a century in these many balls. Mayank Agarwal on Sharjah, he scored 100 of just 45 deliveries. Rather, KRL was still playing his basic 100 strike rate knock there. I was trying, okay, I will damage there, I will go there. But Chris Gayle, you were mentioning, he and Mayank Agarwal would have been an explosive opening pair for
Absolutely.
KXIP. They would have provided a lot more runs, like what I would say, like 60, 70 in power play. They have that capability. And we could have seen some massive shots on like Sharjah, which earlier in the tournament was well suited for batting. It wasn't like the ball wasn't sticking to the wicket and the ball was just flowing on the bat. Easy sixes were coming. I think Chris Gayle could have scored another 175, which he have scored once. Sharjah was his ground. He scored runs there. He scored his first 50 there. And then again, there was second game. He again scored a 50 there against KKR. And then a 99 runs at the Abu Dhabi with the longest boundaries out of the three stadiums. He scored 99 runs there. So the power of Chris Gayle is a lot. Even the Brian Lara, I watched Select Dugout. He says like he's the best in business. Why they were benching him? Either Chris Gayle plays in team or he's not playing IPL. He's staying at home. He's not staying in the dugout. He's not staying on bench.
Exactly. And even that game that went into the second super over against Mumbai, Chris Gayle, there was a fun statement where Mayank asked him, "Are you taking the strike or do you want me to take the strike?" And Chris Gayle just looked at him. "I'm going to hit the first ball for a six." And that is what Chris Gayle brings to the plate, right? He actually has the ability to do that, convert or do things that he says he will do. So he's definitely a handy batsman. And, and I had said that twice or thrice in my shows in the past that one of the things with Chris Gayle is you, as an opposition, always focus with your main bowlers on Chris Gayle, which gives the likes of Rahul or Mayank or anybody else who's in the middle order a slightly less bit of a bowling force from the opposition. They try to focus with the main bowlers on Chris Gayle, and the other ones then manage to get their innings together, put some total on the board, and you could consistently start hitting 170, 180, which is with the bowling that Punjab has can be defended. But moving to the next segment, my question now is: who do you think should Punjab, now that considering the next IPL is within the next 6 months, who do you think should Punjab retain and what changes do you think should be made?
I think like they should start using Ishan Bora. He's been bench warmer for an entire season. He's a brilliant under 19 bowler. We have seen him. Like, I don't know why didn't they use him. In the initial games, he should have been there. At least let young talent expose himself to the cricketers, to the actual cricketers. He's going to bowl in future. Let him do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, he might be thrown away out of the park, no matter what. But at least give him 2-3 games. He deserves that. He's an under 19 star. So I think not utilizing Ishanpur was, I think they should retain him and actually use him as a bowler in upcoming season. Give him chance. In the current selection, he's going as a bowler with Team India, which is great. Congrats on him on that. But I think the only player they should get rid of now, if mega auction doesn't happen, which every team is saying we are not looking forward to, because it wasn't actually a season which is meant to be. I think this was just done for the business purposes by the franchise.
Absolutely.
Let's cook some money. So I think they should retain all their players. I think Punjab should get rid of Glenn Maxwell and Sheldon Cottrell. They paid big
Cottrell
prices on
definitely. I
those.
don't think Cottrell is worth anything. He doesn't offer
And,
anything.
and Punjab should invest in number 5 player. A player who can get you 2 overs of bowling and who can smash the ball out of the park. And what I'm seeing in my eyes is Jason Holder is kind of a player I'm looking towards. Today in Sunrisers Hyderabad, he performed great. After being hit for a six against Pollard, he still got the wicket off him. And I was just like, he's a player. He came as a replacement and he's showing him, I can play. I am a player. Like, the team should have bid on me. I wasn't a guy who should have gone the under the hammer. I should have gone the under the hammer for the price.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
Jason
And
Holder,
Jason Holder, if you also notice, has a test 100. He is the captain, so captaincy doesn't really bother him. He also has the ability to, bowl four overs. He comes in lower down the order, bats, and he bats really well. He's not really just, just doesn't throw his bat around. He bats well. So I feel that
he's,
he is underrated. But
he's
question for you now would be: who is the Indian talent that probably Punjab currently has in the middle order that they can probably bank on or invest on and give more chances to?
in the current squad,
Yes.
Karun Nair. They underutilized him. I know, like, he had some few bad games, but he himself just throwing out. He's a great talent. He should come up. He should come and score runs, and he's a great batsman. He could be a really good number 2 batsman. I think Puran can get number 3 because he's a great striker of the ball. and he can bat for 7-8 overs at a strike rate of 200 plus. He's really a great striker of the ball, a great young talent. I think KXIP should never leave him for the next 8 odd years at least. And the other player which I am looking towards is like David Miller. He's just a bench warmer this season for Rajasthan Royals, which is really disheartening to see a player like David Miller, who is the fastest T20 international 100. I think he's a great batsman. The number 5 position was very well equipped by him. He scored runs for KXIP there. So I think him with the Puran and Gale in the squad, it's a deadly combination of left-handers. But I think opponent would have very a plain game against them because these are all left-handers. And I think they will always go for the off spinners there. And a lot of googlies to them.
And
So I think
your take on Bishnoi?
Vishnu is a great talent. I think he should remain with the squad for a long time. He's a great bowler. He have proved
He's a
himself.
great.
He have proved himself, and like he came from where there was no cricket academy. He and his friend they built it from scratch. I saw like from where the Ravi Bishnoi come, they said there was no cricket academy around us, and they built their own cricket academy. They just dig out on the ground. They just tried like, okay, let's remove the soil over there, put on the grass, and they made their own pitches, own nets, and from there on they started an whole academy. And he's a great. I think he will do great in Team India in upcoming years. He will be selected for sure. I think next 2-3 years are going to be crucial years in his career. And if he goes on full on them, he have a very bright future. And like every team will bid on him.
I
We talk
absolutely
about
agree with
Rashid
you.
Khan. We have Ravi Bishnoi in India.
Absolutely.
In Twitter, actually, they had a trend like give citizenship to Rashid Khan. Like, let's bring Rashid Khan to Team India. But I said, like, we have Ravi Bishnoi here
We have
already.
Bishnoi. Exactly. I really hope Bishnoi shines up for India and Punjab. So the last segment now that I have is now that we know all our four, Mumbai just lost by 10 wickets. So now that we have the top four teams, what is your prediction here? Who do you see going all the way?
I think like SRH already have experience in playing the eliminators and qualify to and final. So SRH has pretty good chance of getting to the finals, but it won't be easy against team like RCB because they were the team like Mohammad Siraj, like he's shown a great form in the recent few matches. He's a great bowler, I'm considering. So I think the RCB won't be easy for them to defeat. But and Mumbai Indians versus Delhi Capitals, it's an easy cut to the Mumbai Indians. Like Delhi Capitals, I'm not seeing a team which can dominate Mumbai Indians. Either they could go neck on neck with Mumbai Indians. Otherwise, like Mumbai Indians have straight ticket to the final. And out of 3, what I'm seeing they can possibly face is RCB. Like if the Delhi Capitals, if they had any luck in them, like they have a huge luck with the first game. Like that short run call, I think that was the difference between us and them on the points table.
Absolutely. Absolutely
That,
agree
that
with you.
that's the
Two or
difference.
three
Like
decisions that probably and Punjab should have been in this top four.
and
Much boils down to captaincy of KL Rahul, the decision making, and some of the players that were selected, and the exclusion of Chris Gale for the first 8 games
yeah,
makes no sense. But much to play for now. I know Mumbai and Delhi. I feel Mumbai will probably see that through, win that one, and uh, I have a feeling with the current form and Rashid Khan, I think SRH might just be able to dominate RCB. But let's see, it's Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers who can probably decide the fate of that game.
they always perform in big games.
Yes,
They're gonna perform in big games. I
yes.
think RCB can make it through. Like see, they're losing 4 on a trot. They lose 4 in a row. They can't lose the 5th one. Come on. You're not
And
KXIP.
this kind of a game is what will, probably wake up Virat Kohli. So far, he has not performed. He got a 90 odd, but that is not the Virat Kohli we know of. Virat Kohli is, he plays out of 14. Virat Kohli must deliver at least 10, 11 times. This is not the Virat Kohli that we know of. But all right,
But
Gurpiyar, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your views. It was really nice to talk to you. We should probably do another one after the IPL is done with.
yeah,
But
sure.
thank you for coming over, joining me. So guys, this is all that I have for today's edition. If you like this channel, please do hit the like button, please do hit the subscribe button. If you do not like it, leave us a feedback. I will be more than glad to work on the content, and we will talk shortly. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you again, Gurpiyar.
Thank you. It was good.